Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends like to get in a basement and give thoughts and give opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a movie, and that movie is Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and here to discuss, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, I live, and I'm excited to be here. I was expecting like it lives, of some kind in this, and we didn't get it, but yeah, I'm excited to talk about Frankenstein.
So we saw an early in-theater showing of Netflix's
Netflix produced, Frankenstein.
Directed by Guillermo del Toro, Frankenstein.
Yeah.
At a theater we've never been to.
The old Regal Oaks.
Yeah, so there used to be a Regal Oaks where we went. It's a 24-screen theater, and it's not owned by Regal anymore, and some independent outfit owns it, and it was a pretty interesting theater experience.
It really was.
I feel like that's a good theater for, like, I was really thinking about really hard, like, a date.
Definitely. Yeah.
It feels like there's like less hustle and bustle about it.
Well,
like
and
you're
it
going
feels
there to
almost
see
like
some weird movie.
It feels like trapped in time to a degree. Like there was so much
Yeah.
neon everywhere, just the way it was laid out. It was cool. And I was telling you this in the theater. There was some, I don't know, Instagram reel I saw of a guy talking about, go to your weird rinky dink local theater because it's gonna be an experience. It's gonna be an experience. Like the audio's not gonna be the best, the picture's not gonna be the best quality, the theater's gonna smell a little dank. But God damn it, Gooch, does it have some character? When we walked in, I was like, it smells like mold and cigarettes, and I'm like, I love it. Like I don't know why. It just
I thought you said that as in like I don't like this.
No, into it. Well, like it's like kind of like I didn't like it, but it's like a joke of like, man, I feel like we're really here. But yeah, it was a really fun theater experience. I'm glad we got to see it. Very not very wide release of this, and we did get to see it early.
Yeah, the fact that King of Prussia didn't have it, I think, was weird.
Blew me away. And then this weird little kind of rinky-dink chain did. Yeah, I don't know. But let's just get in right like off our base thoughts, Gooch. What did you think about
so going into this, I don't think I've watched a single trailer for this.
Right.
So I was I didn't even really know who was in the movie.
Right.
I almost thought this was like the Christian Bale Bride Frankenstein movie, like when we were sitting down to watch it. So going into this movie, kind of knowing nothing is a pretty rare experience for me. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. It's this kind of take on Frankenstein that's probably not exactly the actual story and takes some liberties and does some original things. Maybe that's wrong.
Right.
I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of getting the impression that that's correct. So if you're in the comments, if you're watching,
if you're a big Mary Shelley fan,
please let us know if this is to the T or if it's a bit off base or taking some creative liberties. Anyway, it's this lightly stylized version of Frankenstein, and I really enjoyed everything about it. I think the only thing I didn't like is it's a really slow movie and it feels really long.
Sure.
Like I don't think like watching this again would probably be a slog.
Sure.
Because it's coming and it's a slow drawn out.
Bit more character focused.
We get a prelude, and then we get the perspective of Victor Frankenstein, the leading up to the creation of the titular Frankenstein's monster, and then we get the perspective of after Frankenstein's created and
like his development
supposedly destroyed. We see what happens between his destruction and the moment on this boat, which I love. The ship and the crew were like kind of like this middleman and are like they're like this device to basically be like, we need somebody to tell the story to. Tell it to the ship captain.
Right. And there's a bit of an allegory.
And he's like, not once. I was like expecting like, this is getting pretty long.
Right. And I do like even the ship captain is kind of an allegory for Frankenstein in and of himself when he's like, he doesn't know when to give up because these guys are going on like a ship trip or voyage to the North Pole and they're getting caught in all the ice and all the ship people, the crew are like, Captain, let's turn around. He's like, we're moving forward.
Gave me Return to Obra Dinn vibes for like 2
interesting.
seconds.
That's
what I was thinking of.
I like it.
Yeah.
But sorry, continue. Anything else?
No, I think that was kind of it.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
No, I totally agree. It's funny. You say the length, and I would have expected it to draw on me a little bit more, but for the most part, I was locked in. I will say when it started getting a little bit more towards the end, I was thinking about checking the time on my phone, but for the most part, I did not.
I did.
It's a very dialogue heavy.
I don't like doing that.
For sure. It's a very dialogue heavy film. It's super character focused. It's a really kind of stark look into the character of Victor Frankenstein and even what he, is all about, why he is doing what he's doing with his mom and his family, and where he came from, even with his dad, and why he is the way he is, and why he wanted to create the titular Frankenstein's monster. I think it's all great, and I think the performances are truly stellar. I mean, Oscar Isaac absolutely steals the show for me. I think he plays like eccentric without going too overboard for the most part.
Yeah.
Especially in that opening scene where you see him reanimate the first corpse in front of like the medical society, which I think that might have actually been my favorite scene, just because I don't know why. I just like this idea of all these nerds being freaked out by him reanimating this corpse, and he's like, I didn't do it to get their approval. I just wanted to show them it's possible. And all of the practical effects, man, look fucking stellar.
Seeing the tech in the movie reminded me of Amnesia.
Definitely, like
the Vitae, like that. Like what was in those bottles? Like he doesn't explicitly say.
You don't really get into it, because I know it's about like it comes down to the idea where you need to push the energy through the body in a certain way that keeps it going. So I don't know. He must be filling him with some type of liquid that is causing that, reanimation agent. That's the only part about it I didn't really quite understand. Like, what is causing him to fix himself? Whereas, like, I get why he was alive.
Why he has Deadpool
Why is he
powers.
immortal? Because I never really thought that was a thing with Frankenstein. I thought, he's just as a reanimated, pieced together man.
Right.
So that part I didn't necessarily understand, but I didn't need to. I wasn't thinking about it really. But dude, I agree. All the tech, the moment where he's actually, bringing the creature to life, there's so much tacticality going on with it. Like he's turning knobs, he's pressing buttons, he's attaching the thing, he's setting up the different lightning strike points. It's great. And you can tell Guillermo wanted to do this for real. Like he talks about it so often.
So I was talking to some people, and I was informed that Guillermo del Toro is obsessed with Frankenstein. Yeah. And this has been something he's wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah.
So him talking in being Dead Man in Death Stranding and Kojima and stuff like that, him talking about Frankenstein in Death Stranding 1 and 2, is because of that. So I was kind of like, oh, did like Kojima write Frankenstein in his character and kind of like got his brain spinning? Like, and it was like, no, he's always been obsessed with this, which is something their friends, they would know. Or he would know, so he wrote it like that.
Right.
And it makes a lot of sense. There is some Death Stranding 2 imagery. I love this
for sure.
With the coffin of Mrs. Frankenstein. I forget her name, and
his father.
Yeah, and the angel with the red mask looks like Higgs.
And I mean, even like the moment that the monster is being reanimated, it's a clear like BB reference. Like when it travels through his like organs and like goes inside.
Yeah.
That's the reference that I was talking about.
Oh.
Like that's like where it goes and then it goes
I thought you were
inside.
talking about the coffin. I was like,
no,
yeah.
I was talking about that. Like it's literally the almost exact same shot, how it goes down Sam's throat, and then you'll see the BB at the end. But in this, it's just like his like things reanimating.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. But I do, to speak on the actual monster himself, Jacob Elordi, man,
looks great.
Fucking kills it, and he looks great.
I asked you in the theater, I was like, do you think that's a suit? Because like he does seem bigger than everybody else, but like not gargantuanly big, but big enough that you like notice.
I'm sure I don't think I think that's how tall he is.
Yeah, I assume he's like 6'4", 6'5".
Full body, just prosthetic. So it's not necessarily a suit, but
not
it's
like
all
not like Michael
covered,
Chitlis.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but he's covered head to
Four.
toe in prosthetics of some kind.
Yeah.
So
and it looks
kind of
great.
like a suit.
It kind of like, it doesn't look like it's an actual stitched together dead person, but it also looks like that at the same time.
Well, it's weird. It's not
this,
like stitched. It's like pieced almost. There's like a jigsaw element to it.
It's got this like, I'll say like Nightmare Before Christmas looking.
I would agree. To a degree.
Like there's something about it that like I know is not real, but I know what it's supposed to be, and I like the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Going back to the stylization, I think that's where the color goes into it. There's a lot of like bright reds used in this film, and Elizabeth Mia Goth's character also wears like a lot of bright clothing that it sticks out, but it's not like too weird, and it's not like too stylized.
Of course.
It's like there's clearly like some use of color, and I'm not really sure exactly what the red is supposed to represent. Maybe it's supposed to be like life or blood or something like that. I'd have to look at it again or think about it a little bit more in depth, because Frankenstein's like scarf is like that.
Yes.
And his mom was in the red, who was also played by Mia Goth.
Yes. Is she wearing prosthetics at the beginning, or does that
her face is just obscured, because I'm like, I think well, when we first saw Elizabeth and to see it was Mia Goth again, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, is this gonna fuck with him? Because
There's a bit of an
it
Oedipus
looks like
complex
it's
in
his
there,
mom.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I love the theme of maternity in this movie. Him drinking milk all the time. Elizabeth looking like
His mom.
Right. And him lusting after her, and also his brother as well. Like, yeah, there's this Oedipus complex there that I really like. It's like very subtle. It's not very obvious. It's not like he's like, there are a few scenes where he's like, lusting over Elizabeth and her affection matters to him, but it's not like really the point of the movie.
No, but then it's also the idea that he's kind of jealous that like she likes the monster more.
Yeah, and Frankenstein's missing this maternal instinct that clearly he never got. Like, we see he's kind of raised mostly by his father in his more adult years, and he gets hit and beat, and that's what he does to Frankenstein, to the monster. And it's like, well, he never, like, he clearly doesn't know how to be like motherly to this creature that, like, I was kind of feeling bad for, and I'm like, no, like, you just need to be like a little bit more patient.
But
man.
then also
he didn't think this far into the process,
right? And I did like that moment
and he says it. Yeah,
I liked when he finally, like, he chains him up and he walks back up and he's just like, man, I thought this was gonna be like a bit more satisfying, or there was gonna be some type of feeling to it, but it just didn't hit that way, and he's like, it almost feels like pointless. And I thought that was a very interesting idea, and him going through this like roller coaster of emotions, and he ends up just being his dad again, even though he wanted to avoid that.
Charles
he hated
Dance.
his dad. Yeah, great poll also, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of subtext, if you will, in this movie. I think it's very much overtly saying what it's trying to say, and I can very much appreciate that. I do think like the monster, I get making the monster sympathetic, and I think that's a great idea. And Frankenstein is kind of the monster in this movie, really, the creator, and they kind of say that by the end.
Yeah,
and I think that's a great idea. I do think he's a little too sympathetic by the end. Like, he almost feels like he's like, well, I did nothing. Like, it's all on my father. It's like, dude, you killed a bunch of people. Like, and I get it; they're afraid of you and all that stuff, and they attacked you. Okay. But like, you are still like that guy. He just rips his fucking jaw off in the fucking thing. I'm like,
the gore and like I don't want to call it combat. The action is pretty grotesque,
and I
like
think
it's not. There's not a lot of it, and it's not very simple. It's usually pretty like.
Well, you just took the words right out of my mouth. Like, it's not overbearing, and it's used very poignantly. Like that moment
when he fucking degloves that wolf.
Oh, but then also,
so Jesus Christ,
when he's trying to figure out like the chi paths or whatever with the full guy on the table, and he finally figures it out, and it like and it screams and comes out, and I'm like, oh fuck! But again, it's effective because that's like one of the only scenes to like use a jump scare like that. It's super well done. And listen, I think I mentioned it on, I don't know, a podcast when it came out, but did you watch his Pinocchio movie, the animated one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I think, I see a lot of shades of that in this in the way of his stylization. And I just, I really appreciate Guillermo's just care and vision for his craft. Like, I've been sharing them in the Discord. I love how he's just so against the AI stuff and really kind of harping on it. Like, and even when he was talking about making this, he's like, I want to use as little green screen as possible. I don't want to use bullshit. I want to create everything. And you feel that, especially in that laboratory set. Like when they're building everything and they're putting the towers up.
When they're sitting at the foot, well, they're outside. I think this is after Elizabeth and him come after Frankenstein's monsters reanimated. I want to call him Frankenstein, but that's not really his name.
It's technically not, But
yeah. Anyway, like they're outside the castle, the lab, and like they're at the foot of it. I'm like, this thing is huge.
There's a sense of scale in this that's rarely achieved, I feel like, these days. And it doesn't feel fake. Like, it feels like you're really there.
I like the Christoph Waltz character being this benefactor who was, secretly trying to, like, save himself by Victor Frankenstein. Like, okay, like, I want to be this body. And I love how he's like, no.
Yeah, it's like,
no.
He's like, and because he's like suffering from syphilis, he's like, it's in your head, it's in your mind. I did like that moment where Christoph Waltz dies because, like, he didn't really kill him. Like, that was kind of Christoph Waltz's own fault for really trying to fiddle with him. And
there was an accident.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to kill him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it all comes down to Victor. He's not trying to be the bad guy, but he ends up being the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I really
he does look pretty bad.
And I like that moment with his brother where he's like, it's your fault. Like, again, not much subtext. He's very much saying it to your face, but he's like, you're the monster, Victor. Like, I've been afraid of you, like, my whole life. Everything bad that has come from our family seemingly has originated with you at this point. And that's a gut punch for him.
Yeah, him shooting Elizabeth was like,
Yeah, like watch it. Like, what are you doing?
Well,
there were a few moments
can
like
tell
that.
He's like kind of like
distraught,
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that he goes after him is really interesting.
There is
like,
one thing in that
doing?
where I didn't really quite understand his growth there. So like Victor.
Okay.
So like he leaves the party after he kills after what's her name dies, and like he's chasing him across the world, and like you see him in Antarctica in that later scene where he's buying all the bullets and everything. But then once he gets attacked and he's like ready to kill him, he's like, I need to destroy this thing. And then once he gets him on the boat, I feel like there's a very quick turnaround where he's like, I'm sorry, son. It's my fault. My son. And he calls him my son and all that stuff. Yeah. Which I like that moment, but I feel like it's very quick, and like it goes just from like that scene to that. And I guess the idea is
it's kind of like every perfect argument you've ever been in. You like just convince the person, they totally flipped, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, and that's happened sometimes.
I got you.
But like, I just would
you think I'm right.
But there wasn't even any like, and I guess it's him talking about it and him explaining himself, and even the idea that like, I like the idea that the monster wasn't saying anything besides Victor, because Victor wasn't even really trying to teach him. He was just like, just say another word. And then like
he's so short with him. I just didn't really not that I didn't really, I didn't understand not the writing, but like the character, the fact that he was like so unwilling to kind of like, I'm like, don't you like it really seems like he did not understand like what the next step of the reaniimation would be.
And that part
I guess you have this
like
not brain dead, but like this blank child slate thing.
Yeah, you need to. He thought it was
going
to
nurture.
He thought it was going to be this thing where you just reactivate someone's mind and they're back and it's good.
Right.
He didn't think about the idea that like, oh, I'm just creating a new life from the beginning. It's going to be a baby. It's going to have a baby's intelligence. And he doesn't want to deal with that. He just wanted the glory of doing it and having it be done. Right. But now he has to deal with all of this stuff after.
Proving his dad wrong, you know, who's
proving the medical society wrong. Yeah. Right.
I love the scene where Frankenstein's monster, goes to the cabin, and he's getting hunted, and he finds the hunters. I guess it's like sort of like a mill that they live at, like during at certain parts of the year, and there's the grandfather, and he's blind. And, he's kind of like the definition of like this tender old man, and the family leaves, and then he finally reveals himself to this family he's been squatting in, which is crazy that I haven't noticed him this whole time.
Right. No, I know that was a joke.
He becomes like the spirit of the forest, and he's helping them out, and there's like, they're not questioning a fucking thing about this. Like, okay.
I do love when they see him, they're like, look at this monster. Look at him. Like, yeah, he looks weird, but like, he just looks like a dude with weird colored skin and some lines on him. You know what I mean?
Right, he is a human.
And he is like humanoid, so like, and I guess he's tall and stuff. That's the thing. I do really like Jacob Elordi's physicality behind him, especially when he's like kind of new and like figuring things out, like the way he's like looking at things, and he's like, even the way he just says Victor. But that moment where he's just like, make me save you, say something else, and then he's walking out and he goes, Elizabeth, and then he's like, what the fuck?
Worst thing you could say.
Like just the wrong thing. And then he just lights him on fire. Yeah. So I do like it, the idea that like he is just a bit childish himself, and he's not a great person. And I like how he comes to this realization by the end, like, no, you are my son, and I fucked up just like my father did. But I do wish that was a bit more laid out, if that makes any sense. Like, I wish there was a bit more of a phasing to that, rather than like, oh, he's chasing him in this scene, and the next scene, I forgive you. I'm sorry, my son. Take my forgiveness. So I don't know. But that would probably be my only gripe with it. Anything else, Gooch?
No. Yeah, no, this is an interesting gripe. I was just kind of processing it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, I like the movie. It's like its pacing, I guess, is really my only problem, how slow it is. But other than that, like, yeah, I think this is something you can watch. I guess if you can get out to a theater to see it, I would highly recommend
it.
Definitely. I don't know if that's possible, but
they are doing
wider. On Netflix.
I know Guillermo keeps tweeting. He's like, oh, more theaters are coming soon. So they do seem to be like spreading the release. If you can see it in the theater, I think this movie deserves it, and then some. It's a spectacle in a lot of those ways. Yes, it's quiet and contemplative. Don't get me wrong, but it's a gorgeous looking movie.
See,
man.
I think those are the kind of movies you don't want to see at your house, because you'll be looking at your phone. You'll get easily distracted.
Right.
I think like being in a theater setting, I'm not taking out my phone. Yeah. Like I might check the time on my watch or something like that, but I'm not.
You can sit there and become absorbed in a way that you just can't.
And I definitely was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a good time, and I think the theater experience kind of lended to it. The fact that we were kind of like in a theater that we never have been to.
Made it feel like an event a little.
Yeah, the theater was different. The previews were different. You know, the whole, it did feel like an event. And that's kind of why I had a lot of fun. And I'm glad we went out to go see this. And
I'm too.
You brought it up to me a few weeks ago, and I'm like, yes, let's do it.
And then originally I only saw showings out in Philly, which just weren't going to work. And then I saw, you pulled out Oaks. I'm like, oh, that's totally different. Like, that's way more doable. So I'm glad we made it. I am. Yeah. And I can't recommend this enough. Mid-tier film for me, I'd say.
That's always the question.
Yeah, isn't it?
I'd say low tier film.
Okay. All right.
I'd say low tier
I think
film.
It's squarely in the film category for sure. It just feels very auteurish in many ways. Like, it feels super Guillermo. And you can't go wrong with that at all. I can't wait to see what he does next. So there was one thing I shared in the movie Discord. He apparently wanted to do a Cthulhu movie. Like, it's In the Eyes of Madness or something like that. It's one of the Cthulhu books.
Okay, yeah.
And there's some concept art for it. There's even a concept trailer for it. And it looks pretty interesting. I'd love to see him do that. I'm not the biggest fan of Netflix for certain reasons, but, you know, if they're giving him the money to execute his vision as he sees fit.
I would imagine they're going to be long-term partners, right? Because of Pinocchio.
Think so. Well, and I know he's been really pushing them to get, because he wants the theater experience to live on, obviously. And Netflix seems squarely against that in a lot of ways. They only want to put a movie in theaters for like 3 days and then call it, a release. But he seems to be really pushing them. And
so
I appreciate that.
Is Netflix like distributing that? How does that work?
Yeah. Okay. So, they have I assume it works any way a studio thing does. They get partnerships with certain theaters and then they just send out the copy. So yeah. Interesting stuff.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
No worries.
You're all right at the end, but
no, it's all right. It's been a long day so far. We've been here. So
this is our third recording.
Yeah. Anything else though, Gooch, on Frankenstein?
That's it, man. Highly recommend
I think so too. I do too. I can't recommend it enough. Guillermo is a master at what he does. But thank you all so much for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, a Discord channel, which will all be linked down below for your convenience. We're at Delco Nerds on everything with an @ You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. Me or Gooch would be happy to get back to you. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy. We will see you next time.